to start off by cutting up our piece of vinyl. I know one of my edges is going to be better than the other. Now, I used an iron before, so I don't know how much of my crinkliness is going to show up. And I did use a pencil to draw on this fabric portion. So I have my old yucky mat out, and I am going to use my matte grid. I know you can't see that, and I'm going to just zoom out a little bit more. I am going to use my grid mat, or the grid on my mat, to come and see where I need to kind of make my lines. But I want you to cut out this piece maybe a 1/2 inch to a little bit bigger than the dimensions that you totally need at the end, because we can clean up the edge with our X-Acto knife after and make it really nice and sharp if that's what you want. Or you can freehand it like I said, or it doesn't even matter. It's whatever you'd like to do. So I need it to be 11 inches wide. So right here. So I think I'm going to cut mine at 12. And then using my husband's ruler, I know that I need it to be 9 inches high, if that makes sense to you. I'm going to rest it here on the 10 and just go right to the tip of the ruler and then go across. So if my head's in the way, I apologize. So this is where you don't need your X-Acto knife if you don't want to. Like I said, you can just roughly cut with your jumbo scissors to get the piece that you need. And even though I've already allowed myself for a little bit more space on there, I am still cutting a little bit larger than that piece was, if that makes sense, right? So now I've got a piece that roughly looks like this, and then I'm going to cut my piece of paper to be precise. And that comes into, you know, the style of book that you want or what kind of style you're looking for. I don't know what your inside page, what you want it to look like. And I'm going to be using this Craftsmith paper only because my paper that comes in my kits is double-sided, and you know how I feel about, you know, wasting a double-sided paper. It'll kill me. I don't want to do it. I don't want to waste it. Now, I love wood grain. Love, love, love wood grain. And I'm not prepared for class, so hopefully you're prepared for class and you know what paper you want to use. And I know my outside is gold, right? And I keep coming back to this polka dot one. So you know what? Polka dot one wins. Polka dots. Okay. So yeah, this is my well-loved mat that I don't mind using for, you know, harsher glue or whatnot, and using a very thick X-Acto knife. So we want to cut this one as best as we can. I know my trimmer isn't, you know, the best for precision. It's a little bit older, and you want to make it 11 inches wide. And you can keep that little piece if you want to. You can create a border or something fancy. And I can see that paper is not good there. Not good. So we're going to cut it like this. And then we want to make it 9 inches high. Does that make sense? That's making sense, right? And then keep that little piece of paper again. So we're still good, right? Everybody's on the same page. And so then this is what I'm going to be gluing down onto my piece of fabric here. And so basically I purposely want to leave a little bit of a border where I can come in with my X-Acto knife and clean up the edges, okay? Even though this one's a huge big gap, I'm just trying to find where this vinyl naturally settles and trying to get as close to a natural edge as I can. You can totally come right into the middle if you feel more comfortable that way. It doesn't matter whichever way you want to do it. When it comes to using your Fabri-Tac, my bottle is like probably here. It's harder to use. It's probably easier to use when you have a full bottle. I hope that this works well with you guys because this is live TV. But you need to work quickly. So you kind of have to like spread it out as best as you can, working a lot towards the edge. So do your best to get around the edges as much as you can, and in the middle just fill it up, and then you can use a bone folder of some sort to just smooth it out, and then we're going to let it dry and come back and cut those edges, okay? So basically I just have to kind of get this puppy started and bring the glue down, right? And so like I said, it's probably easier to use a full tube, and it comes out kind of like a quasi dried up hot glue. You know what I mean? Like it's not very, it's wet, but it's almost dry. I know. I know you know if you've used Fabri-Tac before, that's what it looks like. And I'm really coming into those edges. And now I'm gonna go gloopy gloppy in the middle. That's not a word, it's just what I'm using today. And on my little test one, of course, it was easier to do this because I didn't have so much surface area. So let's hope that this does work out the same way. And then just kind of go back and concentrate on your corners as much as you can, because we don't want those flipping up. Right, so zigzag, zigzag. And this stuff is powerful, so try not to breathe right now. You have to hold your breath. There's a sacrifice to everything in life. Okay, so now the magic is gonna happen when we flip this over. Let's hope. But you see how quickly that wants to just stick itself down? Okay, clean your fingers off so that we're not dragging any glue around, and then just firmly press with your fingers to get rid of any of those bubbles. If any glue seeps through, I hope that you're wearing really yucky pajama pants like I am, and just wipe it on your pajama pants, because that's what I do. And this glue is forgiving as long as it's wet. You can kind of like goober it up like a really tacky, you know, piece of ATG. Right? And now I'm going to come in with my bone folder, and I'm going to go really up into those edges because I want a nice crisp edge to this. That's what I want. So you see here, if you leave it too long, or not long, I wanted to say, you can still kind of fingernail glue off if you want to. So that's, it's a little bit forgiving, like it's strong and it's going to give you the tack that you want. So I'm purposely pushing my glue right to the edge, and I could see that this corner didn't have enough. So yeah, push your glue right to the edges and purposely make the paper do what it has to do, if that makes sense, okay? And so I see that there's a little bit of dirt coming up here because there's excessive glue, and I'm going to work quickly to move the glue out of the way so that it doesn't ruin my paper, because if you do let it dry, then you won't be able to do what I'm doing right now. So just take your time and look around now. If there's anything that you want to clean up, I'm assuming you can use an adhesive remover too. I don't know if I have mine out. No, I don't know where mine is. So let me see, can I use my eraser? Just gonna clean it off on a piece of paper here. And yes, you can use an eraser. It's working just fine to take away any of that excess glue that we don't want on our edges of our page so it doesn't look yucky. And then we're gonna let this settle before we start hacking into it so that the bonding can actually happen. And like I said, I didn't use this type of gluing format on my initial Faux-Doris, so this is kind of a test for me as well. All right, so it looks really good. I'm really happy with that. And that's when you want to let yours dry a little bit more, although Fabri-Tac is very instant. I'm probably high now with this. Ooh, it's really strong smell. Woo-wee. All right, so I'm going to be using my husband's 90. Is that what this is called? Is this a 90? This is a 90, right? Are we still recording? Yeah. So much fun. Isn't this so much fun? You're going to be addicted, I promise. You're going to love it. All right, so I just saw my paper move. Did my paper move? My paper moved. I'm gonna have to put more body weight into it. What am I doing? Let's see. All right. Will I be able to do it? I just hit my light with it. Let me see. Big scissors? Big scissors. All right. So my tip here is going to be to use your big scissors if you can. If you can do it better than I can with your 90 and your X-Acto knife, then that's awesome too. But I'm liking the scissors. So whatever works best for you, whatever gets you the results that you like, I'm good with. I don't think my when I was recording this, or not recording, my goodness, pardon me, when I was making my Faux-Dori upstairs on my breakfast bar, when I first made them, I think I was using more body weight, and because I'm sitting down and recording this for you, so for recording purposes, you had to go through all of that. The lights going out, the X-Acto knife not working. But that's okay, because this is what you want to see. You want to see how things get done. And sometimes there's a little bit of bloopers between things getting done. Okay, so where are we now? So now we are at the stage where you just want to do whatever you want to do. If you want rounded corners, go for rounded corners. What I've seen on YouTube is people using caps and putting it on the corner and using their X-Acto knives and going around with it. I did use my corner chomper on one of my books, and I don't know if I have it here to show you. Yes, I used my corner chomper on one of my books, and I'm gonna say that it was not my favorite thing. I did not like to see the frayed edges. I didn't like it. It's not for me, but that doesn't mean that it's not for you. If you like it, then you can go right ahead and you can do your edges. And so now I just kind of double check to see how the adhesion went with the corners, and I'm going to tell you it was really good. It was phenomenal. And now just with eyeballing, and I know that sounds so crazy and my head's going to have to get into the way, and you're going to have to forgive the crazy, crazy, crazy Monica hair. Okay, you're going to do your edging as best as you can, because there's no, I don't have a scientific version for you on this. It's just the best that you can, because then your book is going to be crinkled. Now, like whenever you fold anything, and this is for crafting and for any other purposes, there's always going to be a cleaner side, if that makes sense, if that's the proper way. And then there's going to be a rougher edge side. Now, when I made my little prototype, I'm just reaching for it, but I don't know where I put it, so. When I made my prototype, I did go back in with my scissors and freehand and cut it neater, because it was literally scraps of paper. So if you feel that your measurements and your cutting, or you had, you know, an X-Acto knife boo-boo like me, or your scissors, whatever, you feel that you want to tidy that up, go right ahead. It's okay. It's your dory. You can do whatever you want. But what I do is I just visually look at it and I determine that if this side doesn't make me want to make it a cover and this side is more pleasing as a cover, then that's what I do. And that's it. And I don't focus on all the imperfections of, you know, does this look perfect and yada, yada, yada. I don't do that. That's just not me. But if it's you, then you do it. Next, you're going to need your ruler and a pencil so that we can mark the holes to our punching so that we can put our elastics through. And I'm just going to grab my punching tool as well. And so basically I'm going to try my best to put up the measurements and see if